European Commission. But we have received no indication that funding is available for any of them at the moment, and it's in the early part of the process.
Okay.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I want to comment on the public transport investment programme, the 110 million, which I welcome. In particular, the provision of the 19 new buses for Dublin Bus. There is an increase in people going back to work and people using public transport. Traffic congestion has come back again, so I think it's important that we invest in transport infrastructure to allow people to have the option of leaving their cars at home and switching to using public transport and to reduce the congestion, and I think that is welcome, and I think that needs to be continued as well. The other point I want to make was what was referred to by Deputy Ellis in relation to the proposals that were announced yesterday, and I welcome those, in particular the proposal to have a rail connection from Clongriffin on the Dublin-Belfast line to Dublin Airport. I think that proposal is realistic in terms of cost. The reservations, the land reservation is there in the Fingal County Council Development Plan, and I think it would mean that Dublin Airport would have a connection to the mainland rail system, which I think every other capital city does have, and I think that's something that I think I would welcome. I know it's going out to public consultation, and there are other options as well, but I think that is certainly welcome. The other point I want to make, Cathaoirleach, is the concerns raised by other deputies in relation to the comments and warnings made by the Irish Rail Chief Executive, Mr. David Franks, in relation to the future of the rail system and the need for additional funding if the services have to be curtailed. And that is a concern. There have been a lot of savings and cost reductions in Irish Rail. I'm thinking in particular of the Dublin DART system, whereby the manning levels have been reduced. A lot of DART stations do not have staff at the stations, and ticket is automated. But there is a particular difficulty for commuters who travel at night. If there's an unmanned station, very often there's a security risk, and some people are quite concerned about travelling. I mean, my own constituency, there's a DART station in Donamead, Oat Junction, and that at times does have safety issues at night, and I think it's important that those issues be addressed. The other question I'd like to, I see that there is, in the subhead, there is extra investment for the Lewis Cross City. Could I just get some more details on that? Because it is a major project in the city. It's causing a lot of changes to our city traffic and a lot of disruption to traffic, as well as disruption to businesses and traders and all that. So I'd just like to get some more details on what the extra investment is doing in relation to the Lewis Cross City project.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just to answer the different questions that the Deputy has put to me there, I'll just begin with the point that you've put to me in relation to new buses. I do agree with the point you've made there. As you well know, I mean, buses carry more people than any other form of public transport in our country, and what we are doing here is modernising the fleet of our two main public bus companies, and I expect and believe this will lead to an improvement on the quality of service that people see in the future. In relation to where we are with the public consultation process and your comments there in relation to the railway line, this is the very reason, Deputy, that I decided at this stage to put options out to the public, because I do feel that if I look at how these decisions have been handled in the past, sometimes what happens is there's a big discussion that takes place. A lot of that, for understandable reasons, can take place in private, but then a big decision is then made about a single project. And lots of people then have questions regarding, well, why wasn't this considered? Was this taken account of? And so on. And by having a period of public consultation up until the middle of January, I'm hoping to give everybody who's interested in this an opportunity to put their view in. As you can well imagine, at the end of the day, we're going to have to make a decision about progressing a single project. but I do hope that the decision that we'll make will be a better informed one by giving people the opportunity to send in their views. In relation to the point there that your question there in relation to David Franks and in relation to Irish Rail, and I'm sorry, Deputy Ellis touched on this question with me as well, and I didn't acknowledge it fully. There is a €45 million investment there that is a really substantial development in funding work that needs to be done, and by doing so, by making funding available from the Exchequer to do that, making a very positive contribution to the balance sheet of Irish Rail and therefore to the CIE group. But there will be further work and further decisions that need to be made in relation to this in the future. But I'm very pleased to be bringing in this funding today to build on the fact that we've maintained the PSO levels for next year for the first time in many years, and now we're able to add to that by this injection of needed capital funding into the companies. In relation to your direct question there in Lewis Cross City, the reason for this now is the original budget figure for this deputy was 32 million, and because of the utility works at the moment are ahead of schedule, more funding is needed this year to do that work. And that's what the additional €5 million will be for, bringing that figure up to €37 million for this year. I take your point in relation to this potential disruption across the city, and I want to acknowledge the huge support that we've got off the business community in Dublin in relation to these projects. I chair myself a Lewis Cross City working group that meets regularly to look at this matter. And I'm very pleased to see now that as Open City is up and running now to make our city easier to get around for the Christmas period, that a lot of the hoarding and work that was taking place, for example, in Dawson Street, much of that is now removed to make it easier for people to get around. But I should say even more work will be beginning in January.